You know what's funny? Sometimes the people who raised you are the last ones to believe in you. That I still remember that Sunday. The air felt heavy, like the universe itself was holding its breath. My sister had sent one of those calendar invites, important family meeting. All must attend. It sounded like a board meeting, not a family gathering. But that's what it always felt like in our house, everything measured, discussed, judged. That I showed up anyway. Like I always did. Mom was arranging cookies on that fancy blue plate she only used for serious conversations. Dad was in his throne, that same leather chair he'd claimed since I was a kid. My siblings came dressed like they were on their way to a corporate seminar. And me? I just sat there, wondering what version of my failure we'd be dissecting this time. Then Dad cleared his throat, that same sound that always meant trouble. "We need to talk about your future," he said, but what he really meant was, "We need to talk about your failures." They started listing them off like a spreadsheet of my mistakes. Dropped out of college, started a business. Failed, started another. Quit, tried consulting. If you can call it that. Every word felt rehearsed, every sigh, a punctuation mark on their disappointment. That I told them I had clients. That I had a team. They laughed at him. "Why, Father, God," I can still hear it, said, "that's what people say when they have a laptop and a dream." I wanted to scream. But I didn't. I just sat there, calm, composed, and silent, because what they didn't know was that silence was my power. Then came the ultimatum: "We're cutting you off," my father said, like he was delivering a verdict. That no more safety net. No more support. You need to learn what the real world is like. I just said one word: "Okay." And for the first time in my life, that word scared them. That I left without drama, without tears, because inside, I already knew something they didn't. That my company had just closed contracts with 3 Fortune 100 clients. That $147 million in combined revenue. But I didn't say a word, because I wasn't waiting for their approval anymore. The next morning, my phone exploded. Notifications, calls, messages. Forbes had gone live, front page. My face. My name, the woman revolutionizing tech growth, the secret weapon behind Silicon Valley's biggest wins. The same family that called me unrealistic was now calling non-stop. That I ignored every call, not out of revenge, but peace, because the truth didn't need my defense anymore. By evening, they were at my door. Mom looked pale. Dad, the man who never looked uncertain in his life, couldn't meet my eyes. "Maya," he said quietly, "we need to talk." They stood there like they were seeing me for the first time. The same woman they'd called a failure was now trending on LinkedIn, CNBC requesting interviews, Fortune 500 CEOs quoting my work. Dad asked, "Is it true?" I said, "Yes." He whispered, "When did this happen?" And I said, "Over the past 10 years, the years you thought I was failing." Silence, the kind that swallows entire rooms. Mom tried to smile through her tears. "We just didn't know." "You didn't want to know," I told her. "You wanted proof before belief. And that's the tragedy, isn't it? They never believed in the dream until the world stamped it with approval." Dad finally sat down, looking smaller than I'd ever seen him. That he said, "I called you arrogant yesterday, because I couldn't imagine a kind of success that didn't look like mine." That moment, that confession, broke me more than all the years of judgment. That I told him, "You weren't wrong for wanting me safe. You were wrong for thinking your version of safety was the only one that mattered." Mom cried. Emily apologized, and for the first time in years, they listened, really listened, but it was too late. The validation I'd been begging for, I no longer needed. See, the truth is, when you stop chasing permission, that's when the world finally starts listening. When you stop proving, and just become. They thought they'd cut me off, but really, they'd set me free. Pauses, look straight into camera. And if you've ever been doubted, if you've ever had to build in silence while everyone questioned you, remember this: success doesn't always roar, sometimes it whispers. And when it finally speaks, the whole world goes quiet.